What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my R&B review. This is your boy Rash here. The album that I am about to review tonight is Teena Marie's "Wild and Peaceful," released in 1979 on Recording, which was under Motown Records. Kind of continuing on the Rick James train and shit like that. So we're just gonna talk about Teena Marie. Just to let you guys know, I'm sort of gonna take like a little quasi break from reviewing Rick James at the moment. I'm gonna get into the Teena Marie albums and talk about Teena Marie for a little bit and shit like that. And I'm also going to talk about a famous R&B band pretty soon, so I'm gonna keep that under the wraps. That band I might start talking about in about 2 weeks, so stay tuned on that. But other than that, Teena Marie, one of the, in my personal opinion, one of the greatest soul artists ever and shit. Like, she's known as the Ivory Queen of Soul and shit like that. Fucking has like a 1 million voice and shit like that. Very dope artist. She got that street swagger towards her and shit. So, for those who don't know who Teena Marie is, she's a singer. She's a singer that was born in like Santa Monica, California and shit. Um, um, while she was little, she wanted she while she was little, she always had like an interest in singing and shit. She's actually, from what I looked up, she's actually mixed with Portuguese, Italian, Irish, and American Indian and stuff. And she always was influenced by singing like old Motown records and stuff. While she was 8 years old, she actually had like a small acting role from what I looked up on the hit sitcom Beverly Hillbillies. That show that ran in the '60s and stuff. Funny show. And she actually sang at the wedding of Jerry Lewis's daughter while she was 10 years old. And so by the time the '70s hit, she had relocated to Venice, Los Angeles and shit. And that was like a black neighbor. It was a black neighborhood, and she while she was there, she got into forming a local rock band called True Vera in the mid '70s and stuff. Um, by the time it was like 1976, '77, a Motown staff producer by the name of Hal Davis, he had wanted to audition. He wanted to audition Teena and stuff like that. And so what led to happen, it was supposed to get auditioned for a film about orphans that Motown was developing or some stuff. That got shelved, whatever. But Barry Gordy, he wanted to do more with Teena Marie. He wanted to do more with Teena Marie and stuff. So, like I mentioned in the Bustin' Out review, he had hooked up with Rick James and he wanted him to produce her debut album and stuff. And so that's where this album comes about. Wild and Peaceful. A little trivia about this album. So as you can see in the album cover, it has like a sky and stuff like that. You don't see Teena Marie's face, and there's reason of that because, well, let me give a backstory. Certain soul artists, as far back as the '60s, the labels didn't really want to put their faces on the album covers because it would be like a way, they thought it would be a way to scare away like the white listeners and stuff. Mostly known was like artists like Otis Redding with the Otis Blue album, had that white girl and shit, and then you had the Isley Brothers with this old Heart of Mine, with this whole Heart of Mine album and stuff like that. So just found that pretty interesting. So what Motown did, in a way where they kind of did it reverse, where she's a white artist, she wanted like the black audience to. Just give me one second. I have to turn my laptop. They wanted the black audience to like accept her first and stuff like that. So once the black audience accepts Teena Marie, basically what happened was that was when the Lady T album, which I'm going to talk about sometime next week most likely, with the Lady T album, that's when you saw her face. But more about that sometime next week. So yeah, I thought it was pretty clever on Motown's part and shit. But look, they could have picked a better album cover. But yeah, yeah, and there's no inserts with this one. This like of course used copy and shit. So yeah, the personnel you got, people like Teena Marie done some on piano and vocals, of course. Rick James did like the majority of the instruments. You have people like Garnet Brown on trombone. You have people like Oscar Brashear on trumpet. Um, alongside Rick James, Art Stewart actually helped produce the album, and I've mentioned Art Stewart previously on the Come Get It review. Motown's produced. He was a Motown producer and shit like that. So yeah, very underrated producer if you ask me. Um, and of course, this is like a pretty short album, so this review should not really take too long. Track number one, we got I'm a Sucker for Your Love. That song actually features Rick James. Very dope song. That could have definitely been something that could have been like on the Bustin' Out album. It resembles that sound with the hard bass, the high pitched female vocals and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a pretty cool song. I'm a Sucker for Your Love. That was the first single, if I'm not mistaken. Very funky song and shit. Then you got Turning Me On, which very soulful song and stuff like that. Very funky song sometimes like that. Track number three, Don't Look Back. That's actually a Temptations cover. Not really a big fan of that version. I don't even think I've heard the original version of that Temptation song. I have to re-listen to it, but yeah, I wasn't really too keen on that cover, but eh. Next track, Deja Vu, I've Been Here Before. I love that song. That's arguably my favorite song off the album. Definitely has that beach kind of ocean feel to it. It has like a feeling of reincarnation. Have a feeling like reincarnation and things like that. Because deja vu is French for already seen. In case you guys don't know, and it's just it's just like she's like saying some shit like you just live life to the fullest. I love the line when she said, I used to be a queen, on an island by the sea with rainbow colored people, happy as can be. Like, this song that calls like for unity, reincarnation, very dope song. I love that song. Yeah, very dope song. And I forgot to even mention the singles were I'm a Sucker for Your Love and Don't Look Back. But I felt like Deja Vu gotten some airplay in '79 as well. So next track, I'm Gonna Have My Cake and Eat It Too. This was a pretty different song because it kind of took on a more jazzy turn and shit like that, which was not a bad, but it just really just brought it out there. It was just out the blue it happened and shit like that. Teena Marie definitely did a thing on the jazz part. Loved the scatting she was doing on that. The saxophone on that song was dope. Who played the saxophone on this album again? Sax. Ernie Watts on the sax, and Ernie Fields. It says Ernie Fields and Ernie Watts. I guess they both played sax together like on the song. So yeah, very dope song. And the last song, I Can't Love Anymore, was pretty straight song. Not really one of my favorites, but yeah, it's pretty straight. Yeah, that's all the songs off this album. Overall, very dope album. Um, Very good album and shit like that. It's not like one of her best albums, but it's an album that is definitely a nice start to a very influential career and stuff like that. You can really hear like the Rick James gritty production on this album and shit. Which some parts it worked well with the voice, but at the same time, some parts it didn't work well. Like I don't know. I guess like the "Don't Look Back," I could have done without that song, but yeah. Other than that, this is a very, very, very good album from Teena Marie. It's I believe it's actually out of print too because it goes for like a lot of money. I was lucky to find a vinyl for a good price and stuff. So yeah, yeah, Teena Marie with that Jesus Christ. That's Teena Marie with the Wild and Peaceful. Oh, and actually, I forgot to actually mention her first TV appearance was when they realized she was white on Soul Train. On Soul Train, when she appeared with Rick James before "I'm a Sucker for Your Love" and shit. So I forgot to mention that, but I'm gonna talk about Lady T sometime next week. What else? What else? What else? Yeah. Other than that, stay tuned for more reviews and all that good shit. Peace.